So I had somebody send me a contact message on realistnews.net. I said, Joe, check out the author report, January 2017, CLIF Wobot report. It was titled Sci-Fi World. And he goes, check out the last few paragraphs of page 22 and then page 23. See where we are right now. Yeah, okay, let me go do that. And at first it's kind of, and then you get to page 23 and, oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, I can see that. But it warrants reading the bottom part of page 22. As a component to the general awakening wave within USA Pop, there are a set. It says there are a set. I think he meant there are sets. And I need to do something real quick. Here we go. Move that. Now I'm ready. As a component to the general awakening wave within USA Pop, there are sets for real estate crash and bonds coming unbound. I don't know if you've heard, oh my God, 10 years below this. There's a lot of news of the bonds fairly recently that are like scary news that normally typically mean, oh, we're in trouble. Just turn on Greg Manarino and you'll get an earful on that sector. He's on top of things over there. Anyways, as a component to the general awakening wave within USA Pop, there are sets for real estate crash and bonds coming unbound, such that variable rate loans of all forms are becoming the next subprime crisis. The data sets have banks in trouble from mid-January onward throughout the year. Supporting sets for the banking crisis in USA Pop also includes lots of language for awakening experiences and new awarenesses of collusion and corruption, with much of this focusing on the banking and political systems. As may be expected, the data sets are forecasting a great deal of upset and no-shows for old economy before 2017 sales patterns or programs. These data sets are describing a debt reduction crisis when the debt-based money system comes under extreme pressures as the behavior patterns that kept it alive over these last 40 plus years change in ways unforeseen by those who operate the system. These changes are forecast to fundamentally alter the nature of power within USA Pop as the population changes ahead of the behavioral patterns. Some of the detailed language is very much in the vein of what if they threw a party war and no one showed up. These sets are suggesting that the power shift occurring in USA Pop politics is actually reflective of or participating in much larger changes, perception, awareness, shifts within the population. The data sets have such impacts as re-enlistment into military being drastically reduced. Curiously, we need to note that sets within the Antarctica, the Discovery, are showing the reverse, where enlistments are up for deliberate attempts on the part of apparently enough people for it to make it into global visibility to be posted to the Discovery in Antarctica. The data sets are suggesting that somehow the USA Pop ruling elites will be able to control access for a short period to the Discovery. This will lead some very entrepreneurial-minded individuals to try to game the system by enlistment into USA military. According to the data, the tactic will work often enough that there are forecast to be a few internet fabulous personalities who become fabulous due to being expelled from the Discovery. Most of these incidents of publicity and viral videos are showing as having Australia as the background. However, in several detail sets, we get an image of some Patagonia scenery described as both compelling and later revealing. The data is forecasting that some sharp eyes are going to themselves become mega internet global fabulous by what they see on a distant shore within the videos. Yet more participating sets for secrets revealed. Other sets within the larger metadata layer of secrets revealed are reinforcing previously forecast language for difficulties within bad behavior of some element of the general population. Now we have to note the planned and hyped protests around the Trump inauguration are forecast within the most recent processing to be a flop, or a wet noodle episode. The data shows that there are going to be instances of bad behavior that will be hyped within the legacy media, but that the expectation of mass demonstrations is to be disappointed. To be fair, that's just dead on accurate. This is a report from January of 2017. Trump wasn't even in the Oval Office yet, not till late January. And we did have the Antifa, the protest. They were all nothing burgers, small ones. Anyways, moving on. Page 23 now. Without regard to the developing stories of the outward appearance of the upcoming power shift, there are areas, speaking of power shift, Democrats, left, holy crap, power has now shifted to Trump and the Republicans. Anyways, without regard to the developing stories of the outward appearance of the upcoming power shift, there are areas of new growth for crisis mode within the established deep state and officialdom, as fears of exposure will be taking hold from January 5th onward. Some of these fears of exposure sets are also directly held within the market area, where they are reflective of the criminal crony class of the moneyed ruling elite. A majority of the subsets within USA Pop that contain power as a supporting set and that have growth over January are also bringing in lexical structures, including awareness of failures of institutions and crashing of the idea of institution-supported life and contention over organizations and hidden agenda. These awareness of the evils of power sets in USA Pop are at the extreme levels of emotional sums. These sums are not describing an awakening bloom. I think he means now, not. So I'm going to re-say that. These sums are now describing an awakening boom within USA Pop that will accelerate over January and through February to reach something of an emotional crescendo in mid-March, just as the false economy or rigged markets within USA Pop reach into extreme, bizarre levels. There are a number of sets within the most recent processing providing new growth for the transition points or pivotal experiences for their generations that continue to point to these next 15 years as the challenge to young USA Pop that will define them to themselves. There are a number of sets within these areas that point to energy and ice age as being the central focus of the upcoming existential crisis. Yet more data continues that would seem to suggest that the political fracturing will continue as political parties come unbound. Many of these sets are cross-linked over to the corruption and Pizzagate sets. Note that this will affect the Republican politicians as much as, or more, than Democrats. For those who do watch politics as a sport, this period is forecast as defining the American political parties for the next few decades. Though the data is quite clear, it will not be until 2025 that the form will be entering stability. Prior to that time, the data has the political structures within USA Pop described as constantly shifting alliances that are only waiting for a puff of wind to break them. A new round of corporations behaving badly is being forecast to begin very early in the year, in spite of the ebullient mood that will be infusing parts of the USA Pop. Corporations behaving badly. Twitter, Facebook, Google, YouTube, banks, especially the political side, social media. The data shows layoffs and bad business decisions coming to the forefront of awareness as 2017 gets off to a violent start in the area of currencies and debt markets. Again, I always say it. He'll put a forecast out because the data says this is what we think. Time frame, here it is. And here we are in 2019, and most of what I read you is now making sense as we've just entered 2019, as if this was read to you this January. Hey guys, January 2019 Webot report, check this out. No, actually, it's 2 years old now. 2017. But I always say it, just pay attention to what it says, keep it in the back of your mind. If there's something really interesting, save that, put a little calendar reminder if you want to pop up later in the future just to remind you of this thing. See, has it happened yet? Because there's so much data in these things, you forget it if you don't go back and read them. Anyways, there are a number of sets for general reappraisal of the state of America within USA Pop as the power shift moves forward. As model spaces progress through to spring, the data has a number of new dramas that will be emerging over late winter and through spring. Oh, how about Jussie Smollett? He's guilty. He's going to be set free. We didn't tell them to seal it. We actually did tell them to seal the, that whole, Avenatti, creepy porn lawyer, Stormy Daniels' lawyer, he's arrested. Oh. Right? I mean, crazy stuff. As model spaces progress through spring, the data has a number of new dramas that will be emerging over late winter and through spring. These sets are also part of the secrets revealed metadata later. And speaking of secrets revealed about the Smollett thing, secrets revealed, or the Adam Schiff thing, he's been pumping, using his position in the Intelligence Committee to tell people, look, I've seen stuff and I can't talk about it, but he's guilty. He's collusion. And Q is saying, wait a minute, he's got the same access to all the documents that we've always had, that certain people have seen. The same documents that say there's no collusion, there's no obstruction. So why would Schiff, for 2 years who've had the same data, keep pumping this as if that was going to be the outcome when he knew darn well there was no evidence whatsoever? Right? Well, what does that say? Secrets revealed. We've just now revealed a secret that, I don't know if I keep saying Peter Schiff, Adam Schiff, that Schiff is a shill. He's a liar. He's a fraudster. What other politicians or government officials? James Comey, Lisa Page, Peter Strzok, all these people, Brennan, right? All these guys. That's really come out in recent times. Talk about secrets revealed. Oh my God, wait a minute. Brennan was over there doing this and he was talking to that. Oh my gosh. And then Juicy Smollett. I saw the video on Twitter posted where the two cast members, the black guys, the brothers, were going into the store to buy some of the equipment needed when they were going to beat him up. There's video footage of it now from the store has been released. We have the police department of Chicago releasing data that they had, even though the court sealed it, but they released it thanks to a Freedom of Information Act coming into quickly before the last minute, before the court could order the police department and anyone else, don't send out any information. Too late. Public records requests, we already gave it out. And what they gave out was absolute positivity that this was staged. It was set up. It was those two black guys that did it. They were his friends, his cast members in his TV show. They did it. Oh, well, they were wearing white masks. I thought they were. Then ABC interview. What was it? Did you see that recently? What was it like? What was it like when they tears welled up in his eyes, but nothing ever falling out of it. I'll never forget this. I'll never forget what happened to me. Oh my gosh. He's an actor and he's acting. Kind of reminds me of when I saw the brother and sister of what was that guy's name? One of the guys that Al Qaeda or ISIS beheaded. Remember the fake beheadings that were happening? Sawed his neck 6 times and no blood ever came out. Remember those guys? The sister and the brother came on 60. What was her name? Yahoo lady, Katie Couric, and the girl. Your brother. This is not the second time he's been in the Middle East and captured. I know. It wasn't his first. This was the second time. What are you laughing at? They beheaded your brother. What are you laughing at? Right? No. Another piece of garbage interview. Roll the cameras. Get the person to interview him. Jussie Smollett. He's not guilty. Let's go with the official story that he gave. Let's pretend that the real truth isn't out. Just pretend that's fake. And we didn't get a Freedom of Information Act request. Public records are now official. We didn't see video, also now official, of the two brothers going in to buy the stuff they needed to help do this. Nope. We also don't have the brothers' official statement on record stating he paid us to do this. Nope. Let's not pretend that. Let's roll the clip. I think it was ABC, local ABC. Let's roll the ABC footage of him rolling with the official narrative he gave. I mean, at what point do you say, guys, look, we've tried to do all the tactics we've always done. We've even been an extreme on a few. We've been busted every effing time now. We're giving it our best shot. And it's worse than terrible. Are you sure you want to do this interview? Should we just forget about it? Just like change the news? Like talk about something else? Do you really want yeah, we got to go with it. Just do what we... Why? Because it's what they do. They have a blueprint. This is what we do. This is how we do a cover-up. This is how we change the narrative. We just follow the rules. But while they're doing that, they're being exposed because we have evidence of them doing it in advance to get ready for it. Oh, wow. So, these sets are also part of the secrets revealed metadata layers. Much of the drama is focused on resistance to change. These sets have very large temporal echoes that will be appearing in late August through September and again in a much larger level in spring 2018. The data sets are suggesting that a reformation of the body politic, general social trend, of USA pop is underway. The sets have the emergence of some very powerful counter trends to recent social engineering appearing that will be shocking to the committed left, and that the unrolling or removing of the blanket language is focusing on the mental constructs and created fantasies of these last 100 years are to be assaulted and overturned. The data shows this as a multiple year process working through society. Further, there are very large cross-link ropes over to the Space Ghost Farts entity, which are where the information and writings / speaking of the ancient civilization are forecast as impacting the reassessment of national and personal human priorities as though a brick to the head. Much of this language around these memes is suggesting that a society in emotional / political chaos and personal angst suffering will be stood up and given backbone, good posture, by the secrets revealed within the discovery in Antarctica. This is forecast as a multi-decade-long process. That's pretty interesting, considering where we are right now politically with the left, the unraveling, the curtain, again, the curtain being revealed, the man behind the curtain, the emperor, he has no clothes, oh my God, the left, everything they told us, Donald Trump's kids indicted, Donald Trump's going to get, it was a lie, it was a fantasy, they're the ones who colluded to overthrow a standing, whatever, president that was just recently elected, wasn't that long ago, in a coup attempt. This is treason. The secrets revealed are that you guys committed treason to try to remove this man. And we now, again, video, testimony from the two brothers with a small letter. All right. And they're connected to Harris, whatever her name is, Kamala Harris. They're connected to that person. They called the Miss Fox, the attorney general, whatever, called her, had him release him. No charges were dropped. Oh, it was an accident. It wasn't an accident. We didn't tell the court to seal it. Yes, we did. No, we didn't. I don't know. It's all coming undone. And I got a sneaky suspicion, boy, baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. Baby. And then Juicy looked at me with those big brown teary eyes and said, you ain't seen nothing yet. Here's a fraudster you're never gonna forget. Okay, I'm done with that. See you later.